All right. Good morning again, everybody, and welcome to episode 78 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited you are joining us here on this early Thursday morning, or if you are catching this later on today on the replay. Now, as always, if you think that any of this content that we are talking about today could be relevant, helpful, or useful for anyone within your circle, please hit the share button and share the love. As you guys know, over here at the On Air Advocate, we always pick a weekly focus or a monthly focus. And this week, all week long, we have been focusing on Alopecia Awareness Month. So with that, I am so excited to welcome my guest, Brittany, who... She's wearing our alopecia shirt today. So Brittany is not only a dear friend of mine, but she is also the support group leader and the volunteer for the National Alopecia Areata Foundation as well, and a fellow Finding Your Fairytale cast member with me, which we'll tell you guys a little bit about that as well. So good morning.
Morning. Hi.
Bright and early, and we both were discussing that it's freezing, so it's 43 degrees where I live, and so I am actually sporting my Marquette gear, not my brewer gear, freezing in a sweatshirt this morning because it's so cold outside, so I hope wherever you are, you're warm. So Brittany, why don't we kind of start at that beginning part of your journey, because I know that alopecia was not something that you were born with, correct? It wasn't something that happened on when you were young. So, and I am, excited because today me and Brittany haven't seen each other in a while. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's her hair. So we're going to kind of get into that too, that when she started to grow back some hair and how that all happened. So if you want to just start from the beginning for us, that would be great.
Okay. So I obviously, as Tammy said, I haven't had it all my life. But around when I was 22, I kind of had a traumatic event happen, and within a week, I lost a 3x4-inch patch of hair behind my ear. Just happened to feel back there, was driving, pulled over, and I'm like, that's not quite normal. So it actually took over about a month to even figure it out. I went to a doctor. They had no idea. They did blood tests. Everything was normal. And then finally got into a dermatologist, and they diagnosed me with alopecia shortly after. So that's kind of how it started. And there are many different treatments. No FDA approved ones, but what I started is I got injections right away, which are shots that put in steroids to help promote hair growth. And within about 6 months, it kind of grew back, and I was all right for a while. And then I noticed again, like as things got a little stressful, like at work or just in life in general, I noticed the back of my hair was going again. And so I kind of continued with the injections, and me personally, I found during that time it did help. And then I was on clobetasol as well, which is like a topical solution.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it started. And throughout, let's see, I'm 29 right now. Turning 30 in a month. Oh, geez.
Woo!
So, kind of, it's been a roller coaster for me, but I know it's different. A lot of doctors say like it can be stress related. I've found in my instances that usually I lose hair from kind of a more stressful time.
Now, a quick question, because yesterday they were referring to, you know, like how Ronnie's had hers forever and it kind of goes around that bottom part. And I know Deidre was talking about that she had that circle was like how it was presented. You're saying a patch behind your ear. Was it just a random patch or was it in a circular patch? Did it have any kind of patterning to it when it started?
Yeah. Commonly with alopecia, it can start as a dime size or it can be a quarter size. It tends to be like a circle or a sphere. And then it kind of just slowly, you know, progresses from there. But it can happen as quick as overnight.
Okay.
And
But yours, that one in the back of your ear, was it any shape or was it just like random patch that?
That one was kind of, it was like probably a bigger circular, but it, you know, it's not like a perfect, it wasn't a perfect circle, but yeah, it was definitely, it went back. But as you can see, like this is my actual hair. About 2 years ago, I had nothing but a quarter of hair, just like a quarter size of hair. And then in the past 2.5 years, it's been up and down. Sometimes I shave it. For the past 7 months, or no, about past year actually, I've grown this. But as you can see, like this covers all this patch here, and it kind of continues. The back is kind of, I don't know if you can see it well. And then I've got some like on the side and like a patch in the front. So far it's kind of hiding it, but I'm almost to the point where I can kind of just go out in public without it on. But otherwise, in the meantime, I've been kind of wearing cool like head wraps, or on the weekends I'll wear like a fun wig or something like that, just to change it up a bit, kind of have fun.
Right. So now treatment wise, you've done topical, you've done injections for this last 2 years, because since I've known you, this seems like the most significant hair growth you've had in the time frame that I've known you. Have you been doing treatment for this time to get this amount? Do you feel like that's helped, or have you not been doing treatment and it just has kind of come back on its own?
I had like a period of time where I did about 2 years off of injections, and then 7 months ago I started them back up. And in the beginning it kind of helped, and then me and my dermatologist jointly decided that to discontinue, because I was probably getting about 70 injections a month, and you have to kind of, you know, think to yourself, like, is this pain, or is this, you know, whether or not your insurance covers it, is it worth the progress that it has made? And it just wasn't quite this time around working as well as you wanted it to.
Okay.
There are, my dermatologist did say in Japan, this is an odd one, Allegra, or allergy medication. There's a study in Japan that said that it helped you grow your hair back. So I tried that for a little bit about 7 months ago. And after about 4 to 5 months, I kind of discontinued that. But it can vary per person. Some people
You're frozen for a hot minute, so hopefully you'll become unfrozen.
certain treatments.
Okay, you're back now, Brittany.
Where did you?
You said we were at the point where you said the last 4 or 5 months, you know, you were taking the allergy medicine and you decided to discontinue it.
Yeah,
you weren't.
Correct. I wasn't getting the results that you know, that we were trying to see that if we could get. And again, like, it does vary per person, so it could react different to each. So it just depends kind of, you know, how important trying, you know, some people do, you know, try all that they can, or there's some people that, like, I find if I'm like trying every day to like put 5 different topical solutions on and different things, I found that it kind of gives you more anxiety and you're more aware of all your patches. So it all kind of depends
Right.
on how comfortable. And I've kind of, as of the past, now it's been 6 months now, I've done nothing. Well, actually, I'll give credit. I'm actually trying Monat. They've got an intense like repair.
Yeah, we carry that
shampoo,
for our clients too.
And yeah.
So more of an
all,
intensive
found
hair treatment. You've been trying that, Mona. And for those that don't know, I am the on-air advocate, but I also am the owner of a salon and spa. And so within that beauty world. And so over the years, they really have come out with so many hair growth products that are through our industry. And I can tell you from the dozens upon dozens upon dozens of customers that have come in, because it is something that as women age, your hair naturally does thin, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have, alopecia, but I mean, people really, really strive to try to find products. It really is a toss up. Like you're saying, you're using, the Monet product and you're finding some success. There's some people who use it that don't find success. There's some people who use Nioxin that find great success. There's actually like a new stimulating one that like uses, like vibration combs, all of this stuff. And so I always say to people, it's completely trial and error. There is no one brand, even though I've carried so many, that I say, oh, for sure, this is going to work for you, because within the case of hair loss, you just don't know, and you don't know all the contributors to it as well. So over the last few months, you have been doing some topical shampoo and stuff. And so you think that possibly could be a positive?
I know you do shampoo and sprays, so we'll see. But I've just found being positive is completely a huge thing that's helped me, because being upset and overreacting and being sad, then being anxious, and then being stressed about your hair falling out, because then you're stressed about being stressed, and then
right.
Exponential kind of what happened for my hair losses, especially when it was starting to like fall out. I would just become even more stressed, and that didn't make it better. But as soon as I kind of what I did is I tried finding more positive like things to do, like maybe going bike riding. Like if I ever got stressed, I would go maybe to the lakefront or go work out, or I'm a gymnastics coach, and so I used to tumble a lot, kind of at open gyms, and then I've kind of held back in the past year due to injuries, but I've just found doing more positive things to kind of keep the stress down has helped me a lot.
Right. And through your journey with having this, I know on a personal note that we've kind of talked about, like, as you were experiencing that hair loss and not knowing why it was happening, and some of that just like sadness, stress of it, and not knowing also how to share it with your family, friends, all of that, and how they were going to take things. Can you talk a little bit about that, the emotional component to all of this?
Oh. Yes, absolutely. So obviously once I kind of started losing my hair again, I was upset, trying to find, why is this happening to me? And, I started, crying myself to sleep and thinking, why can't I just, have hair like everybody else? Why can't I, so as soon as I really started losing it to the point where I had to, I would wear headbands, or I would strategically wear really cute, like, flower clips. I have like a drawer of headbands and flower clips if anybody with alopecia wants some. But I would be so worried about whether or not my hair would move and someone would see a patch. I was so anxious and distraught, and I was overly worried of what people would think. And I used to be a lot of like very judgmental. You know, you'd be like, oh, what is that girl is like, what's that girl wearing? And I think to myself, like, little does, you know, I maybe, you know, I masked it with makeup, trying to make me feel better, and it didn't. And I didn't tell anybody about it, about having alopecia. And then kind of back at home, it got a bit tough because I love and respect my mother, but she tried being there how she could, and you know, it's just not the same. They, you know, you're a parent figure, you know, they want to try to do all that they can, but
Right.
I felt that she didn't truly understand what I was going through. And as much, I know she was trying to protect me, but as we would go out in public, go somewhere, she always tell me where you can put your gun, you know, I feel like maybe she didn't want people thinking things of me if I didn't wear my wig. So it was a very hard time where I was constantly hiding it, and it just made me more depressed and more upset. And then as soon as I kind of just had enough of, you know, crying myself to sleep, that just made my hair come out more. I finally decided to do something about it. So I sought out to the National Alopecia Areata Foundation, to their website, and then I found Josh Lang on there for the Wisconsin support group leader. And from there, I tried to see when they held the support group meetings. And as soon as I went there, I felt amazing. It was so good to see and talk about what I was going through to people that actually were going through it as well, or had a child.
It must be because it's 7 a.m. You're freezing up a little bit again.
Oh,
now you're here. You're here again. You're here again. So you were going to the meetings, and that it really helped because then you had people that you could connect with, that you felt were on the same playing field, knew kind of the emotional aspects of what was going on with that.
Yeah. And then that's when I started, not caring what other people thought of me. And I felt so much happier knowing that who cares what they think. They have no idea what I'm going through or anybody else is going through. If you see a person on the street with a wig on, you don't know that they're going through alopecia. So don't just think that, oh, look at what they're wearing. Just think of them as any other human being, and be kind always. So it's taught me to be more kind to others and not judge, and think of things in different ways, or think of different situations before reacting, and kind of problem solve before getting upset and things like that, so that I can kind of control my stress. And then from there, I started getting more involved. And then in Milwaukee here, we do an annual fundraiser. It's called Morgan's Ride for Alopecia. And then Milwaukee Rock for Locks. So we do like a motorcycle ride and fundraiser afterwards. We had it in September. It's usually the second week, so we had it the 8th this year. And so I've been involved in that every year and helping with that. And so it truly does make a huge difference, because with that money, it helps research, finding a cure, and then it also helps those that want to go to the annual conference that NAF has. So NAF meaning National Alopecia Areata Foundation, which I was able to get a scholarship to. And as soon as I went to my first conference, I was blown away. I didn't even know where my wig was the whole time. I lost track. I was so happy to see. It was just like a wave of bald heads, and just it's totally worth going. And I
Mhm.
want to suggest to anybody that either, whether you have the money or not, talk to NAF. And you know, it's usually the end of July, I
I
believe.
think she said, is it, yeah, or is it June 20? She said for yesterday, 2019, I think it's going to be in Seattle, she said. And I think it's like June something, June 27th.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to make it this year, but it's always a awesome way to like reconnect with the others from other states, and it's a lot of good resources and gives you more information on the new treatments out there. So it's all and then just, you know, having fun too, and it's a fun time, especially like the kids. They do like a day camp.
Yeah, she
And
spoke to that
usually
yesterday about
we
that.
have like a Villanueva. Yeah. So it's a really awesome conference for those of you that have alopecia that haven't made it to it yet. So
And I think that that's
yeah.
so good
Otherwise,
to find your tribe, you know, to find the people that are within your circle. You know, there's so much power within that and empowerment in it that I always suggest that whether that be for something like alopecia, whether it be if you're a parent of young ones that have different abilities, whether you're caring for your elderly loved ones, like find your tribe, those people that are kind of traveling that same road and journey with you. I think that there's so much that they embrace you with, and you embrace each other, and you can share with each other um, to really bring up morale, especially during hard times, you know, and throw ideas off of each other and all of that. So I second that. Now, I know aside from the different fundraisers that are here, you have your own support group now, right?
So we in the greater Milwaukee area. So last year we congregated kind of at the Hales Corners Library. I am going to try to rehab them or restart them there again. Planning like a yoga night. We just had like a Brewers baseball night. And then kind of throw in some fun things maybe for the older ones. We'll do like maybe a night out, or for the younger ones, we'll do maybe, I know I was talking to another, or Michelle, talking about some kid activities too. So that's kind of our plans for our next meetings coming up. And then we've got a Milwaukee support group page. You can add me on Facebook, and then I can add you guys to it, or Josh Lang. Otherwise, you can also direct towards NAF, and they can also give
Hook
you
you up.
add to the mailing list.
Yeah, and probably also hook you up in your area. So if people aren't in the area of Wisconsin or Milwaukee and they want to get hooked up with somebody that's right in their central area for a support group, or an online support group of any kind, I'm sure they have the abilities, it sounds like, from talking to her yesterday and you today, that they definitely have the abilities to do that.
And then they even have some mentor programs too for children younger that want kind of a role model that also has alopecia, that they can either make phone calls or meet up depending on the distance apart.
Okay, that's awesome. And you know, one other thing that I know that you did, and I don't know if that was the first time that you really publicly put it that much out there, but myself and Brittany and I, using proper English in the morning, Brittany and I are in a documentary called the Finding Your Fairytale Project. And in there, she portrays Rapunzel as kind of the irony of that. And so, you know, that really put your photos and so much awareness about alopecia out there from all of the newscasts and different things that we were on. Was that the first time that you ever did something at that level to put out there, you know, showing the world that you did not have hair?
Not my first, but I mean, publicly on that level, yes. About the year I went to my first NAF conference, literally while I was on the trip, I finally just posted a photo, and then just to bring awareness into, I was completely nervous because nobody knew, and it was overwhelming with how much support everyone gave on. So it was over Facebook was my one photo. That was maybe like three or and then kind of with the Fairytale project, to kind of better explain it, it's a group of individuals overcoming whether it's a mental illness or a medical condition. So for me, I'm portraying Rapunzel, showing that you don't need hair to be a princess, no matter what kind of flaw you may have. I'm trying to broaden it a little bit, so to help others, get through what they're going through in a more positive way. So I found that with Finding Your Fairytale, it has made it way easier to open up to people and starting conversations where some people would just not talk about it and miss that chance. Or, you had that moment. There's been moments where I know not normal people would go up to someone, and I just bluntly, nicely though, go up to someone and be like, is that either a wig you're wearing? Or I try to bring it up because I may never meet that person again. And by the end of the conversation, the person is so happy, and I'm so glad that I had that contact. And who knows, they end up coming to a support group meeting or, an outing that we have, if they're not quite ready to go to, depending on, what they're comfortable with, meeting up. So, it's been a great outlet to talk even more about it. And the more I talk about it, the better it's been. And it's not healthy to keep that in. So my advice for the others going through it.
Right. And I think also with the Finding Your Fairytale project, the camaraderie, even though all of us came into it for different purposes, with different adversities within our life, because of those adversities that we had, it joined us all together right away, like finding your tribe. Like it didn't take more than a hot minute to throw down barriers. And for those who don't know, I was Snow White and I am the caregiver. So I play the caregiver role in the documentary, obviously having a son that has significant different abilities. So, Brittany, for the morning wrap up, because I'm sure everyone has to get to work. I don't know if everyone's sitting and watching us. Maybe they're going to watch us later because maybe they have to go to work. But is there anything that you would like to leave us with this morning?
For those going through it, keep going, be positive. Some wrap-ups, just find some healthy outlets to deal with the stress or the sadness you're going through. Never give up. Always be.
I think she was saying always be kind. I know we're playing like Russian roulette right now because it's freezing up.
And your resources go.
But you're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit, like you keep freezing and stopping and freezing and stopping. But I think that we get what you're saying, to make sure that you're finding resources, utilizing them, finding support groups, finding your tribe, getting out there, talking about it, because that makes it better.
Absolutely. And always be yourself.
Be yourself. Yeah. The whole campaign for this week is like, be you. You're unique, yourself. You're a limited edition. There's nobody like you. So embrace it, right?
Absolutely.
All right. On that note, thank you so much for spending your morning with us, Brittany. I so appreciate it. We're going to drop links to some of these things below, so you'll have direct access if you want to get over to the foundation, find out more about support groups, etc. But thank you so much for sharing with us, Brittany, this morning. Remember, be you. You all have a fabulous Thursday. God bless.
Bye.